Welcome to the Sweet Smiles podcast, where smiles are baked into every story. I'm Chelsea Bogg, Marketing Director with Icing Smiles, and in this podcast, we share the heartfelt stories of the families, volunteer bakers, donors, and community members who make our mission possible. Every dream cake has a story behind it, and today we're sharing one of those stories.
Today's episode is one really special because we're talking to somebody who truly embodies what it means to be a sugar angel. Mike Elder has created 32 dream cakes for Icing Smiles. He joined as a volunteer back in July of 2013 and since then has used his time, talent, and heart to bring joy to so many children and families during some of their hardest moments. Today, we're here to talk about Mike, his background, where his love for cakes began, and how he found Icing Smiles and his dedication to the mission. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, thank you. I appreciate it. It's fun.
We're excited to have you here. So we're going to start off with, can you just share a little bit about yourself?
Oh, goodness. I hate those questions because I never know what the actual answer is. Each day of the week, I'm a different thing. And sometimes during the day, I'm a different thing. But no, as far as cake goes, I got started helping my mother years ago. I never really wanted to be a cake person, if that makes sense. It wasn't something that was like an aspiration of mine. But I try to describe myself as an artist most of the time nowadays. I do a lot of things besides cake, but mostly it's just keeping me from having to find a real job.
Hey, there's a beauty in the flexibility of
Right.
doing cakes, you know? I see all those reels on Facebook and things that say, I gave up the 9 to 5 to work 140 hours a week for
Right.
myself, but it's flexible.
Right. I joke because I don't have a day job, and oh my God, I never quit. Everyone who knows
Yeah.
me knows it's 7 days a week. I get up in the morning and I work until I'm asleep. That's pretty
Yep.
much every day.
The joy of business ownership,
Right.
right? Oh, well, I love it. So was your mom a cake decorator?
She was. That's how I got my start. She had arthritis real bad. I would go and just kind of cover cakes for her to make it a little bit easier. And it just kind of exploded from there. I did one show, the big show that used to be in Tulsa. I entered that on a whim one weekend and won Best of Division. And from there, got asked to be on a few TV shows. And I think I've done 19 different TV episodes now. So yeah, there's stuff even coming out this year, and we're working on a project right now.
That's exciting. How did your skills evolve over time? Are you self-taught? Did you do any formal training along the way?
So I've never had any formal training. I mean, it was hard to say that I lived with my mother and didn't pick up from her. Obviously, I did. But, that's actually where the name of my shop came about. Black Sheep was when I started, nobody knew where I came from. They thought I just kind of did things the wrong way. And in art, in cake especially, but cake and art, there is no real way, I don't think. I don't think there's a proper way to do anything. If it works for you and it does what you tried to get it to do, then that's the way for me. And we had some criticisms from the beginning that, oh, he doesn't follow the techniques. And I was like, you know what? No, I don't know what they are, so I can't follow them. And that's where the name of the shop kind of sort of came from.
I love that. It's one of the things of the craft. There, at the end of the day, as long as the cake is
Right.
there and it's a product,
Yeah.
you can't tell me I did it wrong.
No, nobody cares what icing tip I used or what kind of pin I used or what I rolled my fondant out on. Nobody cares. They care about the show at the end.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about your journey and how you connected with Icing Smiles. You have been a sugar angel since 2013, which is incredible.
I didn't
That's
realize
3
that.
years into Icing Smiles. So how'd you hear about Icing Smiles?
So like I said, I just kind of fell into the cake industry, and I did a TV show that turned into 3 more TV shows, did well on them. But anyhow, I met Tracy at a convention, the very first convention I ever went to, which again, I wasn't. I didn't feel like, oh, I really want to go to a cake convention. I was talked into going and met Tracy, and her passion just immediately won me over. I don't consider myself like a hardcore cake person. That's what I'm probably best known for artistically. But, the passion behind any kind of art, the passion behind what I do with cake, that's what to me she really embodied, and that mission that she described me at the time embodied.
I love that. Tracy's a light in and of herself,
Right.
but this incredible nonprofit that she's created and has so much passion behind and has this whole network
Oh,
around
I
her.
know.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And it was pretty new at the time, and this was a while ago now, it turns out. So we were both a little bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, a little younger and more energetic at the time, but I really enjoyed being a part of it for this whole time. There's never been one regret.
And you are one of those sugar angels. If we have a cake in your area, we know Mike's going to come in and save us, and he's going to make sure this happens. And your work is always blows me away.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I have a problem in every aspect of my life where I just don't say no. But
Me
these
too.
are
We're in
different. I
great
mean,
company.
yeah, I mean, I say no a lot more than I used to these days, but Icing Smiles, I mean, it's hard for me to justify the kind of life that I've had, the opportunities that I get to have, especially through cake. Just the happenstance of meeting Tracy at an event, and she was so excited to learn about what I did and how I could help, and it's hard to say no to that. I mean, how do you reap the reward, basically, of what I've been able to have and not want to pay that back? Like the tiniest thing that I get to do that makes me feel like I earned a piece of it anyways.
It's so true. In mine and Tracy's conversation, we talked about the power of what a cake does and that ricochet effect.
Right.
And part of that ricochet effect is for the sugar angel also. Like
Right.
it's a beautiful thing that we get to be a part of.
I say that a lot, especially now. My life has changed so much from the beginning and where I came from. I mean, even in 2013 when I started cake, I don't really do cakes anymore. I do one or two a month, maybe. I obviously do every Icing Smiles cake that comes my way. But that's the thing that I talk about and feel the most now. You said ricochet, I call it ripples. You
Yes.
throw a pebble into a pond and that ripple just keeps going. Well, I'm that pebble and I drip into the pond and hopefully, your art, your cake, your whatever, an Icing Smiles cake, that ripple is what goes on. I'm just that little tiny thing that caused it. That's the goal. And I think Icing Smiles for sure does that.
It's so true. I love that analogy of the ripple. It's really beautiful. So do you remember your first dream cake that you created for Icing Smiles?
I do actually remember my first Icing Smiles cake. It was for a little boy who had just finished chemo and didn't have to go through any more chemo and was on the upward side of things at the time. Yeah, I was in Warrensburg, Missouri, which I used to live a lot closer to than I do now. But yeah, I remembered it was a Spider-Man cake.
I love it. I mean, you've now created 32 dream cakes, Mike, which is incredible. You're definitely one of our sugar angels who has made the most cakes and the number of families that have been impacted and affected by what you've done. What does it mean for you to be a sugar angel?
It's funny because the experience is different every single time. And I've had other sugar angels that have asked me, well, I did a cake and it just didn't seem like it was a big deal and that kind of thing. And I've had those where it's just a cake delivery is what it seems like at the time. But what you don't see is the day to day life of that person. I've delivered to houses that are worth twice what mine is. And you think to yourself briefly, oh, why am I doing this? Well, there's a damn good reason why you're doing this. And it's for a little kid that really deserves it. I don't mean to get emotional. I apparently do that easy these days. But it doesn't really matter, like, to me, what the experience of delivering it is, because I know that there's a deeper purpose to it. I remember cakes that I had when I was a kid and I wasn't sick. I was healthy. And it made a big deal in my life, different things and people doing nice things for me. I really think that a huge part of my life now is because I had a lot of darkness as a kid, but I feel like the real positive parts of me now were really formed or forged, however you want to say it, just because somebody was really nice to me. I can tell you 1,000 stories of one person that did one thing, but that's that ripple. They may not even remember that they did it. They may not even remember the day that it ever happened, but I do. And that's the important part for me.
It's so true. We're out here in the service of making smiles.
Right.
And sometimes the family you deliver it to is going having a really bad day. In that
Right.
moment, you might not get that immediate gratification, but that
Right.
doesn't mean it didn't create smiles. And then it creates smiles to that kid. And then their aunt and uncle that came
Right.
over and whoever gets to be a part of it. It's
Yep.
about those moments and those smiles.
For sure. It's typically we drop off a cake at any event and we leave. But that is the great thing is knowing that, cakes, that's the cool thing about what a cake is. The whole purpose of a cake, whether it's just a chocolate iced cake or a crazy sculpted thing, it is to be the center point of a celebration. And celebration, especially when you have an ill child, is really something that they don't get to do very often. So that's, to me, that's huge. It's a little teeny tiny morsel of normalcy in a life that isn't. And that's, I don't know how you replace that.
It's so, so true. So do you have a favorite delivery that you've done?
Oh, I've had some really monumental ones. I think I did the 25,000th or something like that. That
It's
was
my
fun.
favorite.
Because yeah, that one was really fun because I got to work on a motorcycle, which is something that I like doing. So we repaired a motorcycle for this boy, but we also had a bunch of bikers. Like all we did was put word out on Facebook page saying, "Hey, little boy loves motorcycles. Do you guys want to come by?" I mean, he ended up with bandanas and T-shirts and I don't know, 30, 40 motorcycles. Every now and then guys would just drive by that didn't have time to stop.
It's
It was pretty
incredible.
dope. Yeah, but funny story. I'm 50 some odd years old, and I had a cake for a little boy, and he had brothers and sisters, and he wanted a Camaro, a bright yellow like bumblebee Camaro, with him hanging out of the driver's side, like so his little head hanging out the driver's window. No big deal, right? So I make him, and I'm not thrilled with the boy. It is what it is. I'm not very happy with most of the stuff I make, but I didn't feel like I captured it. And so I deliver it, and I'm walking in, and his family is ecstatic. The little kids, he was, I think, the oldest at the time. And all his little brothers and sisters are all there, and they're all losing their mind. And he's got a little brother that's got to be maybe 6 or 7, and I walk in and I'm carrying this cake and it's got the little boy on the outside because I'm trying to show it off. And I walk in, he goes, "Oh my God, that's so amazing. That's so and so." And I wish I could remember his name. He's like, "That's so and so, but the face is too flat." I was like, "What?" And I didn't say anything. And I'm walking, and it's like, did that kid just tell me that the face was too flat? And I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, I worked on this thing for a day and couldn't figure that out. And
I
I
can't wait
started.
till that kid's turn on the Food
Oh,
Network.
yeah, and I mean, but he was so matter of fact. He's 6, but the face is too flat. And then he goes on about the wheel, and I'm like, I think I was sidetracked the whole time I was there because my brain's going, "Holy cow, this kid is 100% right. The face is way too flat, and that's why it doesn't look right." And then I start thinking, "Holy cow, that's been my problem from the beginning of me making every face I've ever made." And I left, and his mom texted me later and said, "Oh, thanks again for the cake and all this kind of stuff." I was like, "Yeah, no problem. But by the way, you need to buy your other son some clay and let him sculpt because I've been doing this for a really long time." And he, in 2 seconds, told me what was wrong with something that I did. And he wasn't rude about it. He was a sweet little kid. He knew, and I didn't. And oh my gosh, I was so thankful for that little kid.
I love it. I love your
Yeah.
willingness to take criticism from a 6-year-old.
Yeah, but I mean, he knows more than I do. I mean, he was absolutely right. That was what was wrong with it. Yep.
I love it. I mean, kids, there I have 2 of my own, they have no
Yeah.
filter. So if
No.
you want brutal honesty, show a kid.
Right. Right. Yep.
I love it so much. And it's cool how each of these different deliveries, they bring something else out of, and it's these moments that stick with you and
Right.
make it special.
Right.
So if someone were thinking about becoming a sugar angel and wasn't sure, what would you say to them?
Oh, I would say for sure do it. Like I said, you can't guarantee that every delivery is going to be the monumental hallmark moment where everyone's so ecstatic and happy. But I've delivered cakes on some horrific days for families. And that one cake, and you don't know this going in, you don't know what the situation is. But that one little cake became the thing that made everything bright, even if just for a few hours. Whether you see it or not, I assure you that's pretty much what happens every time. Nobody doesn't like cake. No kid doesn't like getting a cake. So it's definitely something that makes you feel really good. That's probably why I've agreed to 30 some odd of them, is because it does make you feel good. It makes me feel a little better about being healthy and being able to do the things that I get to do. It's just that little teeny tiny opportunity to pay it forward. And yeah, for sure, you'd be nuts not to.
I couldn't agree more. I'm being a sugar angel myself and being a part of this whole mission. There's
Right.
14,000 sugar angels around the United States, which is
Right.
a beautiful thing. But There's always a need for more. So if
Right.
anybody listening, sign up, join us.
For sure.
It's fun, it's beautiful, it's cool to be a part of.
I've heard people comment about it before too. It's like, oh, well, you're just giving a cake to a kid. It's like, yeah, there are charities that are donating money and letting families stay places and all that kind of stuff. But and those are all very valuable things. But to me, to try to lessen the value of literally what Icing Smiles gives, yes, it's a smile, but it's normalcy. It's that little tiny bit of I get to today be a normal kid with a normal birthday, and it's not a big deal. And to them, it's a
Yes.
huge big deal,
And
whereas a
these
normal
kids
kid, it's
go
not.
through they go through more than anybody should
Right.
have to go through in a lifetime,
No. Yep.
and to allow those moments of just being a kid, let's just
Right.
have cake and celebrate the
Yep.
moment. It's deserved.
Yeah, it's not about treatment, it's not about any illness, it's not about anything else. It's I get this really cool cake done by somebody who cares and, took that little tiny bit of moment to, like I said, cause a ripple.
Yes. And you mentioned, like, we are all for, please donate to the organizations
Right.
that are trying to find a cure. We
Of
want a
course.
cure just as much as everybody else, but sadly, that cure is not coming tomorrow as much as we
Right.
really want it tomorrow. So, what
Right.
can we do right now in the moment for the kids dealing with it right now to
Right.
make something happy?
Right. And again, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. Sometimes I play one on TV, but no, I'm joking. But I can do only a few little things. I really can. I mean, I know how to make things, and so it's really nice to be able to take that little skill that really doesn't amount to much these days, but that one little skill and do something that really does amount to something.
I love it. So true. So, to end us off, I just have some fun baking related questions for those
Yeah.
bakers out there to hear what you like. So, are you prefer buttercream or fondant?
I prefer the taste of buttercream, especially real pure buttercream. My friend Cami makes the best in hers. I don't know what she does, but it's great. But I do use fondant on almost everything because that's what I sculpt best with.
Yes. Do you have a favorite cake flavor that you like to make?
Oh, that I like to make. So if I'm trying to impress somebody, it's usually lemon with raspberry because I make a really good one and it's yummy. But me, I literally like if you were going to buy me a birthday cake today, Walmart or like box cake mix, yellow cake with the little Duncan Hines chocolate. Oh my God. I freaking love it. Straight out of the box, yellow cake, cheap chocolate icing. That's my favorite.
Hey, I will never turn it down myself either.
Yeah. No.
What is the most challenging cake you have ever done?
Oh, goodness. I've done a lot of challenging cakes. I've been really lucky that for some reason, and I literally had this happen today. Some reason when I have ideas and like, oh, we should do this, people say yes, and I'm boggled, and my brain doesn't know how to accept this most days. But I've found myself in Mexico on a beach making a cake, watching whales come out of the ocean, and that was because I had an idea. Oh, I can make it there, and we could do this big hanging pinata. Okay. And they said yes to that. But, like, I was at a big casino in Oregon one time, and they're building a parking garage. And I was with the casino president at the time, and, I jokingly said, "Man, you know what we should do? We should build a couple big old cars out of cake and shove them down that big hill and see how fast we can get them to go." And no kidding, like, a week later, I get a phone call, "Hey, Mike, were you serious about building those cars?" And of course, well, yeah. Well, can you do that? I'm like, well, sure. I mean, I didn't know if we could do it or not, but it's like, we'll figure out how to do it. And a few months later, and this casino threw a ton of money at it, and there was hundreds of people that worked on this thing. But I'm standing on a hill with Michael Andretti, and I'm on the phone with Mario Andretti, which a lot of people don't even know who those are anymore. But shoving a cake car down a hill, come on. So I'm pretty lucky. My work isn't normal.
I love it. It's fun to not be normal.
Yeah, no.
So, what is your stress level when delivering a cake?
Oh, that's the worst part. I used to have a van that said cake delivery vehicle on it. Dumbest thing you can do. Like, I swear people see it and they're like, "Oh, let's get in front of this guy, or let's hit the brakes real hard." So that went, and everything's much less stressful. But no, I mean, I moved to a farm. I'm about, I mean, call it 45 minutes to an hour from most any place that I would deliver. And that's just like, hey, why don't you just make it harder on yourself anytime you want to deliver something? So you have that extra distance, the extra time. And it's just, my kids give me a hard time because I feel like an old man these days because I take all the back highways and back roads because I don't like the traffic. And it's not that the traffic scares me, I just avoid it.
Yes, the way you drive delivering a cake versus after you drop it off and drive home are like two
Oh,
totally different people.
oh. Yeah, well, and that's like people always ask me too when you drop off a cake, "Oh my gosh, it must really break your heart to drop it off and know that it's gonna be cut." It's like, "No, it's here. I don't care. I'm out of here. You do what you do. It made it."
Right.
That
And I
like that's
spend that much
the
time.
biggest relief.
Please eat it.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you paid to eat it, so do so. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So finally, if you had to describe Icing Smiles in one word, which word would you choose?
Oh, I'm gonna go with my favorite one of the day, I think, that ripples. It is what they do. You touched on it first, but everything that I do now is meant to either bring peace here to me or bring peace to people that I care about. And man, that's hard. I've worked my whole life trying to get to that point and was guilty for a long time of creating all the turmoil in my own life. But it's really great to be able to do something so small. It's a flipping cake. At the end of the day, it's a cake. I don't care if it's a 8 foot tall cake, it's still just a cake. And in 2 days, it's gone. You know, it's gonna be eaten and gone. But that ripple is the important thing. And I think that's what people don't think about often when they're just living their life. You know, everything I do touches other people. We're all connected to the earth, to each other. And yeah, if you can do that little positive thing, because you have two choices. You could do crappy things and still cause ripples, or you can do good things and cause ripples. That energy is just energy. And Icing Smiles definitely creates that positive ripple effect that I'm proud of anytime I can do.
I love it so much. Well, Mike, thank you so much for being here today.
Of
And more
course.
importantly, thank you for the 32 families that you've served with your time, talent, and heart. Your dedication shows what it means to make a difference. And to everybody listening, if Mike's story inspired you, there are ways that you can get involved with Icing Smiles, whether volunteering, donating, or simply spreading the word.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to the Sweet Smiles podcast, where smiles are baked into every story. If today's story inspired you, we invite you to learn more about how you can support the mission of Icing Smiles, whether that's by volunteering, donating, or simply sharing our story. You can find out more information at www.icingsmiles.org. Until next time, keep spreading kindness and helping us bake more smiles.